持人林丽 Annie，
我是下半场的主持人谢于涵 Allison。
穿越了诡谲灵异的恐惧之门，打败内心的揣测与不安，
按捺不住内心的好奇心，想要寻找崭新的自己，寻找潜在的可能，
于是开启了好奇之门。
是时候该起飞了。
Let's play a game. Okay, let's play the association game. I will name a few objects and you have to guess what I'm thinking about.
Okay, you start first.
The first clue is the Big Bang.
Big Bang? You mean the K-pop singer Big Bang?
No, I mean the second clue is Victoria.
Victoria? You mean Victoria's Secret? All those pretty sexy models?
No, the last clue is One Direction.
Oh, I get it. You're talking about England, right?
Yeah, you know what? England is not only famous for the things above, but also its position in the EU.
But I heard that they're getting out of EU, right?
Yeah, how about let's ask
Coco Lee.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your presenter, Coco Lee. Today, I'm going to talk about the topic, Brexit or Stay In, analysis and prediction on the UK's EU referendum. Excuse me. Now, you may be wondering what the term Brexit means. Actually, the word is short for British exit, namely, the UK is leaving the EU. About the referendum. In 2013, UK Prime Minister David Cameron made a pledge to hold a referendum on the EU membership if the Conservative Party were to win the next general election. And Cameron did win the 2015 general election. So he later announced that the UK referendum will be held on June 23, 2016. UK citizens will vote for or against the question, should the UK remain a member of the EU or leave the EU? History of UK-EU relations. Historically, the UK-EU relations have never been smoothly related. Back in 1957, the UK had rejected to join in the EEC. And even though as a current member of the EU, the UK does not adopt the euro, nor does it join in the Schengen area. Positions of political parties in the UK. The UK's current ruling party, the Conservative Party, along with the Labour Party and the Liberal Democrats, campaign for continuing the EU membership. On the other hand, the UK Independence Party strongly campaigns for leaving the EU. Cameron's for EU negotiations. In the 2016 EU summit, all EU leaders reached an agreement covering 4 major aspects to avoid Brexit from happening. Based on the reform, the UK will gain more economic governance and sovereignty, while the EU will become more administratively efficient and strengthen more limitations on immigrants. Now I'm going to talk about some reasons to remain in the EU. First, trade and investments. Losing access to the single market will become a huge obstacle for foreign and domestic investors since it requires more tariffs. 2. Economy. The Center for Economic Performance says that the worst-case scenario of a Brexit is a GDP reduction of up to 6.3% to 9.5%. This might cause major bank headquarters in London to relocate, resulting in significant job and revenue losses. 3. Immigration. Immigrants from the EU provide cheap labor and help deal with the problem of UK's aging population. 4. Common agricultural policy. The CAP aims at enhancing farmers' competitiveness in the EU market. And by leaving the EU, agricultural areas such as Wales and Northern Ireland will suffer from loss of funds. Scotland independence. Scotland is strongly in favor of remaining in the EU, and a Brexit will very likely trigger a Scottish independence. Reasons to leave the EU. First, immigration. Eurosceptics consider immigration problems as the most serious issue by far. EU immigrants and refugees take away job opportunities and reduce the standards of UK salaries. 2. Trade. Leave campaigners suggest that it will be easy for the UK to strike FTAs with the EU and other countries such as China and India, even if they leave. Membership fees. In 2015, the UK paid a net contribution of 8.5 million euros for the EU membership fee. By leaving, the UK can save a lot of money, which could then be spent in sectors such as agriculture. 4. The CAP. The CAP regulates high food prices throughout the EU. Consumers could enjoy more reasonable food prices if UK no longer abides by the CAP. 5. Jobs and economy. Small firms in the UK will flourish after being freed by the EU's bureaucratic rules. Job opportunities will boom and economy will prosper. Referendum poll statistics analysis. Polls conducted under the hypothesis that the UK is satisfied with EU renegotiations showed that 56% of the voters will agree to remain if the hypothesis is true. However, poll statistics also show that the results of the referendum will be controlled by the 16% of the undecided voters. Whether David Cameron can persuade these undecided voters to give him one more chance to fight for a reformed EU will be the key to winning the referendum. Conclusion. Excuse me. The author predicts that those undecided will give the reformed EU another chance and choose to stay in the community because leaving the EU is simply too risky. For one, negotiating a perfect deal with the EU is literally impossible. No country outside the EU has gained access to it without paying into it and accepting free movement. More importantly, even if the UK is able to successfully strike FTAs with the EU and other countries, the process is time-consuming and it takes years for the treaty to come into effect. During this period, UK trades will be charged with tariffs, resulting in the rise of commodity prices. Last but not least, if the UK wants to ensure its global influence, it has to stay in the EU since Brexit will very likely marginalize the UK. On the other hand, Cameron's proposals of reforms can effectively alleviate Britain's worries and problems if put into action. Due to the reasons above, the author believes that the UK will retain its membership of the EU. Thank you for listening.
玲玲，我告诉你，我昨天玩了一个超好玩的心理测验，
真假？我应该有玩，是什么？
就是测你的前世情人的。
哦，你知道吗？我测出奖章证嘞！
哦，真假？我测出来是孙中山，那这样我不是就是宋庆龄，然后你是宋美龄，
我们就是前世姐妹花。
这超好玩的。我告诉你哦，我昨天还有测一个心理测，真的很厉害哦，很厉害哦。
测什么？测什么？
可以测你的视力耶。
哇，好酷哦！我好想测哦。
那我寄到你的信箱好了。
好啊，你就寄到我的 Gmail，
寄到你的信箱
Gmail
西厢寄西厢寄，让我们欢迎黄世敏。
各位午安，我是古典文学组的黄世敏。从唐代到元朝，《西厢记》历经批评和删改结局，甚至有悲剧结局翻身一跃，成为大团圆的喜剧结局。在此，我选择借由探讨其版本， 人物形象，来探究从《莺莺传》到《西厢记》的演变意义和新创价值。《莺莺传》是唐代传奇名篇，内容叙述张生保护崔氏母女渡过危难后，对莺莺一见倾心，透过婢女红娘牵线传诗，两人终于私下结合。而后张生却在功名利禄的吸引下，断然抛弃莺莺。《西厢记》则是推翻了原先的悲剧结局，转而成全张生对莺莺的情谊。经过了重重阻碍，两人终于能够真正相守，证明了坚定不移的爱情是经得起考验的。王师傅以鲜明的人物性格，对封建社会和自由恋爱做了更深刻的代表和诠释。以下特就张生、崔莺与红娘的人物形象进行分析。张生一文中一遇到红娘，便向她毛遂自荐。虽然有一番笨拙之感，但传到莺儿里，却成功的使她显得忠厚可爱，也使这个角色更加生动坦白。不如《莺莺传》中，张生狠心抛弃莺莺；《西厢记》中，张生一见到莺，便立刻下定决心将功名弃之一旁，转而追求爱情。张生追求爱情的种种行为令人捧腹，对待爱情的态度却让人肃然起敬。张生对爱情的坚定忠诚，是让两人战胜困难而终成眷属的关键。而这样鲜明的精神，是在莺莺身上所看不到的。《莺莺传》中，莺莺面对张生的狠心抛弃，只能自认倒霉，是被动消极的。而《西厢记》中与张生的首次见面，他明知有人，却故意不回避。尽管两人没有对话，他一个回头去的动作，却可以让人清楚看见他大胆叛逆、违背礼教的一面。他追求爱情的态度，亦明显的由被动转为主动。莺莺不像崔母重视门第和家喻，她爱的是张生的风流和才气。张生离开前，他曾说：“此一行，得官不得官，即便回来。”年轻的他不在乎门当户对，即使必须要反抗母亲和整个封建社会，莺莺仍选择勇敢地争取自己的幸福。红娘本是崔母派来监视莺莺的角色，却因同情两人的困境，转而帮助他们。面对崔母的质问和辱骂，红娘理直气壮地责怪崔母有错在先，可见其勇敢正直。红娘亲眼目睹了封建礼教的不公不义，并这心勇敢地付诸行动，替两人牵线。她虽是婢女，却不畏权威，是左右推将两人爱情发展的重要关键。接下来，我将特就以上3点进行《西厢记》文学价值的分析。《西厢记》中的突破精神，可说是其文学价值的精华，推翻了《莺莺传》